Nothing else changed, did it? Planning to go back to Feeney's place after class was over. Talking behind the building, but she didn't. Let's just try that again. Who's the Dougie person? They were dating until 8 months ago. What were they talking about? I'm not an eavesdropper, blah 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 blah. So that hasn't changed. Didn't look like they were fighting. Went to go find some other students and they called the authorities. When you say other students, blah blah blah, pharmacology department, fond of their drugs, giggity giggity. They were planning to do, but in the end they wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out the building entrance somehow. They all seemed to know what was going on. How could the students have known what was going on? Well, I don't know for sure. They knew it had happened. They all seemed kind of excited about something. Doesn't look like it's going to get any more information about the students. So the students call the police? Yes. I was just so panicked. Anyone would have been. Telling a super obvious line, she knows it. Pretending to protect Mr. Wright. The thing is, we already know that the guy was already alive still after the shove. In fact, and I believe this watch as well. The fact that the watch is just a little after 3 and Phoenix said that he pushed him and then left and it was about 3 o'clock. That's more like 5 minutes past. Would you go to a sick boyfriend? I suppose, but I don't know where we would fit that into this testimony. It's just very out of the blue. We can't just ask a question. We have to pick something off of the text that she's already giving us and then point a contradiction out. There's nothing there that works in that way. Not that I can see anyway. Because Phoenix is her boyfriend as well, you know, not Dougie. Oh, go to his house plus the bottle. That's a good point. Let's see exactly what she said about this again. Let's see if there's a hint. So he's in the art department. What were you doing by the pharmacology building? In the literature department. Plot twist. Beanie infects everyone with COVID. Yes. Let's see what this does. No, that doesn't do anything. The music didn't stop, so... That never happened. Alright, so we know there's a contradiction in this one again. People lies are not very becoming. Da 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 da. We've already done this. We glared him down and showed the defendant's palm print, so there must have been a shove that she said she didn't see. Didn't see the moment he pushed him, so we're gonna have to go through all these again. Didn't look like they were fighting, didn't hear anything unusual either. But they were having a nice friendly afternoon conversation. I think it's this one. Go find some other students. They called the authorities. But what do I present with it? Because her flow of events is this. Phoenix and Doug were talking. She didn't see the shove, but she said Doug fell over and Phoenix left. And then all these students came out to call the authorities, and she was so panicked. But what we know happened from Phoenix's testimony is he pushed him, then he walked away. He said that he fell on top of his umbrella, but we have already established that he got up after the push, so the push wasn't the cause of the electric shock. So he was still alive. And when he got up, he'd moved the umbrella out from underneath him. It was broken, of course. And then something happened, he got his electric shock. And then the umbrella fell back out, down to the ground. Maybe talking with Doug profile or the article. Maybe. The thing is, but with what? To what end? I mean, the article isn't anything at all to do with this that we know of. The thing is, when we present something, it's got to be because it's a contradiction. It's not to get more information. It's got to be a contradiction that we say, ah, that doesn't gel with this. So, you know, what does it contradict? It doesn't contradict anything. I mean, all that says there, the victim was a fourth-year pharmacology student at Ivy University. So, us putting that with this doesn't say anything about a contradiction. So the judge will just be like, shut up. It's not like an adventure game where you have to put two things together to make another thing happen. I mean, it is, but it's got to be a very specific thing. You mean her profile? I mean, that's still the same, you know, same... Oh god, I just pressed a button. Fuck. What did I just do? Don't see any problem with it. That was me pressing the wrong button. So yeah, either way, I'm going to save it after this bit as well because I'm sick of going through this again. Either way, what we point out has to point out a contradiction, not just a request for information. I will do. I just want to really figure this out. It's one of those where you know when you see it, it's going to be super fucking obvious, but you're going to feel so good about it. I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. Let's go through all these as well so I don't have to redo them. Then we'll save it. Then we'll try and figure it out and we can start testing stuff. Blah 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 blah. Finally this one. See, the fact that this happens, just listen, right? When you see the students from the pharmacology department, they're all very fond of their drugs, try to stay on topic. We went to the labs, correct, that's what I was planning to do, but in the end I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the entrance. Every time it makes that noise, that bloom, it means you've found something interesting. They seemed to know what was going on. Oh, no, I meant to... He's pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Going to dig deep to find the contradiction. Hang on a minute, did I not go all the way through on that one? Let me try that again. Press. Press for more details. How could the students have known what was going on? Yeah, I don't know for sure what they knew had happened. It's just they all seemed kind of excited about something. Did the other students call the police? Yes, she was so panicked. Anyone would have been. She's telling a super obvious lie and she knows it. Tending to protect Mr. Wright. It's gotta be it. Dig deep to find the contradiction in this one. Okay. Alright. Save it, so I don't have to go through all that again if I mispress something. Okay, so... Crime took place behind the IVU building. Tim's watch stopped at the time of death. You have a theory about how the murder was done, but I won't say, of course. Thank you. I mean, I have my own. Obviously, there was an electrocution, and I think that cable was broken deliberately. There was a loud sound when this happened. She didn't say anything about a loud sound. But then again, a broken umbrella from a distance, she might not have heard that. The loud sound was the break in the umbrella. And we're not getting to this yet because nothing at all has come up about the courthouse case. We're probably going to be talking about when she met Phoenix. That'll be the next series of testimony. When that comes up. Oh, man. He doesn't even mention a time, so we can't contradict her with the watch. Third-year art student, currently has a cold. Fourth-year pharmacology student. Talking behind the building, that's true. There's nothing false there. She says she didn't hear what they were talking about, and she wouldn't eavesdrop anyway. Didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. She didn't say why. It didn't look like they were fighting and didn't hear anything unusual. Went to go find some of the students and they somehow knew what was already going on. Could we prove that she did see the push? Like, why wouldn't she see the push? Didn't look like they were fighting, didn't hear anything unusual. Okay, didn't hear anything unusual. There we go. There was a loud sound when this happened. This is it. See, that's what you've got to do. You've just got to take a minute to read every freaking word. There we go. See, when the music stops, you know you've done it right. You say you didn't hear anything unusual, is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright. He clearly testified to the effect that's when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp noise. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear the noise as well? Because she was behind the window upstairs, waiting to cut the cable. Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. Wright remembered it. Why didn't she? But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer? By all means. I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and was listening to music at the time. Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered? The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Was it thundery? Thunder and lightning, very, very frightening. Yes, I'm afraid the sound of the thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out. Hee. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Yeah, the themes are really good. I like them. Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now, she said something that could totally change this whole case. Well, there was lightning. Nobody mentioned lightning yet. Your Honor, there was a problem with the witness's testimony. What do you mean? Didn't you notice she said there was lightning, correct? Yes, what about it? Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right? Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fay. Give him a minute, it'll catch up. Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, this, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? Oh. I must admit that thought had not occurred to me. Just what kind of thoughts do occur in this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt from a crossbow fired by Dahlia to his heart. Metaphorically speaking, of course. But she really killed him. It appears that the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental? Alright, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not... Oh. Talking, that was rude. Creepy pervert laugh. I'm hurt you have such a low opinion of me, Ms. Fay. I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. Okay, this is when he says, there was no lightning that day. And we'll be like, so you just proved that your witness is full of shit. We found that there were no lightning strikes on the day at that location. What's more, we have evidence that the electric cable is definitively linked to this case. Evidence, Mr. Payne? Where is this evidence? This affidavit. And who is this affidavit from? The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out the court testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 PM that day. Was it a blackout? All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electric cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 PM, which fits the time of death listed in the autopsy report. Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching that severed electric cable. Shouldn't have touched it then, should he? According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future. I see. Apparently the cables have become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. Well, that seems kind of unsafe. Just, you know, throwing that out there. The old power cable broke due to some sort of impact on the 4th of the 9th, or the 9th of the 4th, whichever way around it is, at 2:55 PM. However, There's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped. If it hadn't been bumped into, correct? Well, I suppose you could say that. Ms. Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable, Your Honor? Obviously it was from... what's his name hitting it. I don't like how this is going one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. It wouldn't actually be from Doug hitting it. Phoenix probably didn't push him hard enough to knock him into it. He said he fell on his back. He didn't say he hit the post, because if he did, he wouldn't have fallen over. The post would have stopped him falling over. And he wouldn't have fallen onto his umbrella. So that's not what happened. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. Let's hear it. Dahlia ran up and karate chopped it. Hi-yah! Maybe. I don't know. Perhaps. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? Maybe the umbrella went up and hit it. I'm still adamant that that's probably what happened. I mean, it's the only object we have, unless it's... Did the pill bottle hit it? That would be funny. No. Let's have a look at the picture again. Because the umbrella's way over here, not over by the cable. But it's snapped in the middle, look. And for it to be dangling that far away from the other post, those little, like, joining segments there, where it's snapped, it's hanging from one of those, right? But it's not that it's snapped all the way back to the post. Otherwise it would be dangling down the edge. So it got caught in the middle. But it could be that the post was bumped and that's what caused it to break. We've already established that the umbrella went underneath him. Fell on top of his umbrella. That's going to contradict the testimony. He fell on top of his umbrella. Unless when he got up, he pulled the umbrella out from behind him and threw it up and out of the way and it hit the cable. The only thing I can think that makes any kind of sense. Or we could say she ran up and hit it. I mean, it does say who or what, not just what was it that caused the cable to break. Let's try it. That is it. That's why the cable snapped. Well, Your Honor, I believe the only thing that has snapped is the mind of the defense. Ah, that was one of your best lines yet, Your Honor. Ow, that was harsh. Please, Your Honor, give me one more chance. Let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? See, if we say that Doug hit it, then we're basically saying that Phoenix pushed him into the post, which isn't what happened. Maybe he grabbed the post to steady himself while he was lifting himself up. Nope. At least we get infinite tries with this. No. Not her either. This is when we have to spitball now. We have nothing that points towards what could have caused it to snap. Nothing has even been suggested up until this point why the cable broke. And all this says is the power cable broke due to some sort of impact. So what I'm thinking is this. How about this? When they were going to meet up, the original reason was because he was going to give Phoenix this bottle of Cold Killer X, which Phoenix probably lost at lunch. And then he also wanted to chat about Dahlia as well and warn him off her. And then he never actually gave him the bottle because Phoenix shoved him and then they went. What if, because he had that in his hand at the time, maybe when he fell back it went whoop up into the air. Apparently not. What the fuck? But what else? What the hell else is there? What caused it to break? Some kind of impact. They fell on top of his umbrella, there was a loud snap. But the only person we haven't tried is Phoenix. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony. The defendant's testimony. He said after he pushed the victim he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened around 3 PM, correct? Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that the lab equipment lost power at around 2:55 PM, which fits right with Mr. Wright's timeline? In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. Yes, the prosecution also came to the same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne. What's that supposed to mean? Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electric pole. That's right. The victim banged into the pole as a result of being pushed. It was the impact that caused the cable to break. Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, that doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. So they're saying that he was pushed against the pole that's further back, and that caused the cable to snap further down. That's because that's where the umbrella is. And then he got up, and then was electrocuted further over. See, I thought he picked up his umbrella when he got up and took it out from underneath himself, and then when he got electrocuted, maybe the umbrella just flew away. Ah, the lamentations of the enemy. How I've longed to hear them. Alright, Conan. It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done it. Mr. Judge, sir? May I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation, she said some things that are a little different than I remember them. It's because you're a liar. A filthy, rotten liar. What? Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge. No, of course, it's all right. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony. This is it. It's finally starting to show her true colours. What I Witnessed, Part 2. Truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. The first time was into the electric pole, that's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, but Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. I know where that contradiction is. So he was shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away, and that's when the defendant pushed him for the second time. I'm sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge? Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, proceed with your cross-examination. Gladly. Oh, yes. Feeney pushed him twice. Really? Go on, tell me more. Ms. Hawthorne, previously in your testimony you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Feeney. So that's why you basically lied to the court. It's perjury. I was a bad girl, I know. Mr. Judge? Yes? Would you please forgive little old me? Of course he won't. What you did is called perjury. Come now. It was just a little old white lie. We'll forget it this time, but please be more careful from now on, alright? Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Judge. Not at all. Somebody slap that man. The judge had better be more careful himself. A dark alley is friendlier than that girl. First time was into the pole. That was when the first cable broke. You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed into the electric pole? I know he doesn't look like it, but Feeney can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be. Oh, really? But I never imagined that he would cause an electrical cable to break. Feeney really is scary when he gets mad. Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed. He's only dangerous to the career of prosecution attorneys. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him. Let me get this straight. You were happily listening to music on your headphones while you watched this scene unfold?
Objection!
Ms. Fay, I will have to ask you to stop badgering the witness. I wasn't happy. I was so scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on. You were so scared you couldn't move, but you cheered them on. Huh. Cheer them on? What do you mean by that? Well, I wished the best for them both, that they would each give the fight their all. Okay. Yes, fight for my amusement. That's very sweet of you to be so supportive. It's also kind of psychotic. What happened after that? Beanie caught up and crashed into him from behind? That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints on the back of the jacket? Well, no, there weren't. Madam Fay, may I suggest you listen a little more carefully? I said he crashed into him from behind. My Feeney wouldn't leave any prints in that case, would he? Ugh. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. Bullshit! Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted? I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away. That's understandable. Yes, indeed, it would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold. I don't figure out the contradiction here. Already done. It's all over. No, it ain't. I done it. I got you, girl. She didn't have much time to come up with her lies, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole in the testimony somewhere. Think Maya. Oh, it's only a matter of time before we figure this one out. Okay. Why did you not play? Because the volume was down. Never mind. Too late for a drum snare. Alright, so if this all occurred in less than a minute, power cable went out at 2:55 PM. Victim's watch stopped 10 minutes later. Interesting. Huh? Now the question is, which one of these two does the game want us to show up? Probably this one. Yeah. Get wrecked. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute, or 10 minutes to be precise. Let me take you through all of them. Could you please look at this picture? Oh, that medicine. That's the one that Feeney likes to take for his cold. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m. Yes, and your point is, Ms. Fay? My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered the power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Hurrah! Figured it out. Well, would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, what exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? Oh. The defense proposes that you're a dirty, rotten liar. I mean, during this interval that the real murderer killed Doug Swallow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Things are happening while I'm not looking. This is nonsense. A real murderer? Even you can't deny the time between the cable break and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for, and it's significant. It's not a matter of a couple of minutes. Then, who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left this scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer? Ms. Fay, is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer? You betcha. It is finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor, we are ready. Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Ms. Fay. Well, besides, you know, Grossberg and Payne, Phoenix is already there. One of them is a corpse. Who else am I going to accuse? It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. Where? How? How can you? The defense is grasping at straws. 10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing the whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you. Exactly, a refined, sophisticated girl like her wouldn't be cheering on a pit fight. Order! Order! Ms. Fay. What? I mean, why? Oh, Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. Oh my goodness. How can you say something so mean, Madam Fay? I didn't do anything. Ms. Fay, this is a very serious charge. Nick? Beanie? Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say. Achoo! You, what is it? Please strike everything the defense said now from the record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Fay. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man. Ah! Leave my Dolly alone. That's the bailiff now infected with COVID. That boy. Gotten himself in way over his head. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back. It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on the incident in your newspaper clipping. Added to the court record. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. You'd better take a good look at it. It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend. What? Oh, damn. We gotta read this. 1 second, G. Report on the incident 8 months ago. It was Faye's boyfriend who was killed in the courthouse? Damn. Dahlia some kind of Black Widow or something? Not the Marvel character, the spider. So, this happened in the cafeteria, August 27th, 4 p.m. Diego Armando, age 28, occupation lawyer, suspect Dahlia Hawthorne, 19. Armando ingested poison. That's what's in the bottle. Poison. Make a mental note of this. Oh, we do. We will. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of the poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. It's unclear how the poison entered the victim's cup. Damn. It's in that, it's in the little bottle, isn't it? That's why she gave it to Phoenix, just to hide it. I poisoned him, now I need to get rid of it. Ow. Holy shit. This is some Game of Thrones shit now. Oh, yes. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, really, Your Honor, that is, May I interrupt you for a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't worry, my dear, I have the situation well in hand. That is, go right ahead. You deserve to go bold. Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you that you should let me handle this. I'm sorry, please go ahead. How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear. I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. She's a psychopath. The answer to that lies somewhere in the police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally met. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Ms. Dahlia Hawthorne. Further testimony? What about? About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What could that possibly have to do with this case? The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant, am I correct? Well, I have the evidence that suggests she, in fact, had a very good reason. Very well then, the court grants the defense's request. So, she's trying to frame him for this to try and get this back. Because she's constantly asking for it back now, but he's not giving it her back. That is proof of the murder from this article and this autopsy report, or police report rather. So if he goes to jail, all this goes to evidence. I mean, that wouldn't be good because she wouldn't get it back anyway, but you never know, she might. Very well then, the court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying for just a bit longer? Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne. How I met my Feeny. I told you there'd be a section about how they met, and we can pull this apart. I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. Oh god, Phoenix, go away. We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think. Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of court. Now we enter the final act of our little drama. As we used to say in the old days of my youth, go get her. Still say that today. First met 8 months ago. So until that time you've been dating Doug Swallow. Yes, I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly, I'm ashamed of myself. No, not at all. Look at me, I'm infamous for changing my mind. Oh, yes, you are. Flakier than a flake. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle. Maybe you should look for a different line of work. Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. Yeah, after we lead him to it by the frigging nose. That's why some people also call him the Great Judgini? Judgini? Oh my god. I ain't rubbing that lamp. No way. It's like we were destined to meet in the courthouse. The courthouse reading room, that's a strange place to meet the love of your life. That's not true, Madame Faye. After all, Feeney was, well, not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about you, Ms. Hawthorne. Well, what was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room? This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with the murder case. Miss Faye, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case, I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I'd better tread carefully. I'm gonna keep pressing. Your Honor, if you will allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue with the testimony. Very well, young lady. I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room? If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to the courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. Bullshit. What was the next one? Okay, let's just go through all of them first like this, then we'll contradict that after we've pressed everything else. You were writing a paper on what? On the relationship between modern Senryu poetry and the criminal underworld. Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea. Am I getting old? Now I've even forgotten what I've forgotten. Okay. Again with the midlife crisis stuff. Mia, why did that girl really come to this courthouse? Isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? Yes, thank you, Grossberg. Give me a chance. I went through a lot of trouble to get it, my dear, so be sure to read it carefully. So what was it about Mr. Wright that made your heart malfunction like that? In my personal opinion, he looks just like a typical snooty-nosed college brat. Wow. Ouch. Perhaps to a woman your age, Obasama, but to me, Feeney is handsome. Perhaps to you, Miss Hawthorne, but to the rest of the planet, he's a dime a dozen. Wow. Oh, love is a mysterious thing, and I object to this line of questioning. If you were to look at my wife, for example, you might all be shocked. Yeah, would be shocked as to how she could even fall for someone like you. He's telling the truth. It was truly, truly shocking. Beautiful mushroom growing tall in the darkness, it comes from cow dung. Okay. That's the poem that best describes how I feel about my Feeney. So he's a mushroom. Good. We've been going out since that fateful day. Were there any bad feelings between you and Mr. Swallow? No, none at all. We parted on very good terms. But that can't be. Our investigation also shows that this was a clean breakup. Huh? Are you sure? Yes, it seems that they both wanted it that way. That might be the case. He might have figured things out afterwards. So the victim wanted to break up with her. So you're saying that Mr. Swallow also wanted to break up with you? Well, you see... What a cruel thing to ask a lovely young lady like this. By the way, I have never once considered leaving my wife. Nobody said anything. Nobody cares, Mr. Payne. Why would you even volunteer that? She didn't deny it. That must mean Doug Swallow must have seen through her little act. He must have gotten a glimpse of her true nature. Listen to me, Mia. That woman, has the judge in the palm of her hand, you see. But the only way to discredit her is to find a contradiction in her testimony. Already done. Chill out. We'll get there. Come to the courthouse to do some research. Well, we know that's complete bollocks. Because we have a police report here that says otherwise. Because Diego Armando, which is Mia's boyfriend at the time, was interviewing her regarding another case, and he was poisoned. I'm interested to know what that case was. It doesn't say it was a murder. But we know that's complete bollocks. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason? What is the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Fay? 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy. Another tragedy? Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned? The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is Dahlia Hawthorne. What? Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago. And a suspect in the poisoning. Order, order! This is unbelievable. It's true then. Okay, Miss Fay, that's not fair. You can't slander my witness with an unrelated case. I, Winston Payne, will not allow it. Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking. Shut up. Pardon me, go right ahead. It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me. Expressed some interest, huh? Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago. I see. Okay, I've tied the two crimes together and now just got to stay on the offensive. Well done, Mia. Oh, you really lit a fire in my heart and my buttocks. Please leave your arse out of this. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids. Oh, God. Hi. I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment and that was when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal in just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. But you know all about the fucking thing. What? She's all like, oh yes, it was a very, very rare kind of poison that, you know, is very lethal, you know, in certain doses, but I wouldn't know where to get it. Apart from maybe the pharmaceutical department at the college. That's where she got it. I bet that's how he figured it out. That's how Doug Swallow figured out that she's a murderer. Like, wait a minute, that shit just disappeared after she was here? And then a guy dies after she went to court? Fuck. So that's what happened here 8 months ago. However, as you've heard from the witness testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today. And I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination. Yeah. What the? Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger? Because you're so weak. Ah, Mia, you're growing into a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture, self-confidence, absolutely smashing. The poisoning. Alright, so. Met the lawyer to discuss something else. What were you talking about with the defense attorney? Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential. According to the report, you were being interviewed regarding another case. The lawyer that was killed, he said he wanted to talk about an incident I was caught up in when I was younger. Why don't you tell us all what the incident was? That has absolutely nothing to do with this case. Objection sustained. The defense's question is stricken from the record. You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Miss Hawthorne? Well, I guess I was just born under a bad sign. Don't worry, Dolly, I'll protect you. You heard the man. Now that's true love, young lady. No, that's stupidity is what that is. Oh, Feeny, please. Ugh. These two really are making me ill, albeit for decidedly different reasons. I left my seat for a moment, that's when it happened. How long were you gone? I've already answered all the questions for the police, but if you must know, maybe about 10 to 20 minutes. That's a moment for you? Where were you during that stretch of time, using the toilet? What are you saying, Miss Fay? Toilet? My perfect little Dolly doesn't poop. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Yeah. You heard the defendant, Miss Fay. Better look next time. Oh, Feeny, please. The police have already looked into this whole matter. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time. Objection sustained. That's it, all the face palms. My God. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal in just 2 teaspoons. Poison that she knows nothing about. How much liquid is 2 teaspoons? Well, let me see. My bottle of eye drops says it's 1/2 a fluid ounce, which is equal to about 3 teaspoons. That's about 2/3 of that amount, huh? The poison was found in the lawyer's mug of coffee. It must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there. So transparent. Sickening. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. Yeah. Oh, shit. I'm pressing the buttons. Was no one could have... because there. Hang on, I'll go through this again. I accidentally pressed the wrong button again. Very special kind of poison. A special kind of poison? How so? Well, I heard that it's almost impossible to detect. And where would something like that come from? I'm sorry, all I know is that I overheard the policeman saying it. They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify it. Chemical processes? Well, that's quite impressive. Most impressive. The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? Wouldn't know where to get a poison like that. That's the reason they didn't arrest you, because no one could show how you got the poison. I think that's a good enough reason, Madam Fay. She's right. And I think we've all had enough of Ms. Fay's questions. So in essence, the main reason Ms. Hawthorne was never arrested in this crime was because no one could show how she could have obtained the poison. And all we have to do is find the way to establish how she could have got some. Great. Now, just how did the little student get a hold of a poison? So this is what we need to figure out. How did she get the poison? Well, oh shit! Did it again. I pressed the wrong button. I don't normally play this game with a controller. Oh. Alright, I'll take this one on the chin, it's fine. Go on. Take the 2 health pips. Whatever. Alright, present. Profiles. That's better. So he's a 4th year pharmacology student. She could have got it from him at the lab. Let's try this. So, present him. There we go. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What? In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab. Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow? That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Ms. Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University. Pharmacology? His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a poison after all, and then it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at the very table, you. No! Order! Order! Could it be? Well, that's nothing but a baseless... May I say something, Madam Fay? What is it, Miss Hawthorne? The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you'd need some kind of container. Thank you for bringing that up. I love it when they make their own rope to hang themselves. Well, yes, that's true. I was searched immediately after the incident took place. Quite true, in fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down. Wait, but they wouldn't have searched everybody in the building, just her. But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? He was right, they even mentioned that in the report. Shy! Good morning, sweetheart. Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small. Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof. Proof? You got me good with that. Provide some evidence, or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Ms. Fay. Unless we can come up with some evidence, we're going to lose this lead. The police conducted a full-body search of Dahlia and an entire courthouse, and yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred. If you're going to accuse the young lady of committing the murder, where is the container the poison was carried in? What happened to it? We have it right here. It's Phoenix's necklace that she gave him that very day. Poisoned the guy? Then she toodled off and gave Phoenix the necklace so he would carry it out of court. And then she made a point of dating him to try and get it back later. Okay, so present it. You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? That's when you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched. Who is this person? Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course. So the defendant, was this witness's accomplice? No, of course not. She gave the poison to him disguised as a present. What? But that's... This is a charming necklace. This is a little bottle. It's really quite cute. So what about it? What does it mean, Ms. Fay? You just said it. It's a little bottle. The day the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago, August 27th. The very same day the poisoning incident. And it was in the basement reading room, and she'd just come from the basement cafeteria where she poisoned the lawyer. Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away. What? Are you saying that there's a deadly poison in here? No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount. No! Ah! Well then. Order! Order in the court. On behalf of Dolly, I object. Mr. Wright, control yourself. I won't let you bully her like this. Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat. Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her? Why? Because I'm madly in love with her. Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time. Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway? Oh! Oh! Ow! Yeah. Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too. Oh, Phoenix. Mr. Wright, please open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real person Dahlia Hawthorne is dating, the reason Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is because of that necklace. Dahlia Hawthorne was not and is not madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is the bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself. Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl asking for a present back like that. For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back. You're lying. You never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you. No! That's a lie! Wah! Oh god. Somebody's sticking with a tranquilizer. Mia, are you alright? Defendant, he's getting away! Bailiff, hurry after him! He did a runner? Oh shit. Mia! Mia, are you alright? Yes, I think so. That boy, he went completely insane. Where's Mr. Wright? It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be back soon enough. Thank goodness. Oh no. What is it? The bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone. What? That's terrible. Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me. Foolish boy. That's the only thing that could have saved him. What in blazes are we supposed to do now? Well, we've already kind of presented it. It's there. But they do need to test it for poison. Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court. Sorry. I'm afraid your apology is not enough. Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me. I'm sorry. It's okay, just give back the necklace. I ate it. Oh. Oh boy. You what? You ate it? It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew into it a little bit first, you know. But yeah. What the frick? What is he doing now? Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That bottle you swallowed may have had some poison left in it. Yeah, but it wouldn't be enough. It needed 2 teaspoons to be lethal, right? And it would have been residue. And after 8 months, most of it would have just dried up, so... should be okay. But what about passing all the bits of metal and glass? Oh, you're in for a painful night one day. It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly the bottle did not contain the deadly poison. How can you be so sure? I think that's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more likely a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination. So it would seem. No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency. There. It's alright, rookie. Trusting your client is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do, and it's heartwarming to see that you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's not how it is for us on the prosecution side too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. You wouldn't live very long then, would you? Which is why I can state that your assessment of her is completely wrong. That's enough. Unfortunately, Ms. Fay, I cannot accept your explanation of the events. But why? This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but in a court of law, evidence is everything. Ugh. Even after I prove so much, is she going to get away with everything? Well now, that the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed with... Mr. Wright? I'm sorry, Miss Fay. It totally slipped my mind. I'm really sorry. I know you believe in me, and I feel like I really let you down. You let yourself down. When I'm mad, we're just disappointed. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say? There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? That day, the day I met Doug Swallow? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night someone stole some poison from our lab. Poison? The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She stole more poison? Again? Holy shit. She came to the lab that time too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it. And then the shove. Don't talk about her like that. Is it true? Did he really say that? That's ridiculous. There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouched down next to him. What? She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly. Your Honor, this is... The defendant is... Miss Fay, you tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent. Literally put her right next to the body and made her a suspect. You're not doing a very good job. This is before he became a lawyer, though, so... Then again, what am I saying? He was always this dumb, even when he became a lawyer. So Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago, too. Huh. If you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, there's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison the night before she killed Doug Swallow. The night before? Naturally, a motive for stealing it was to kill someone. Miss Fay. He was going to kill Phoenix and take the necklace back, because he wouldn't give it back. If you're so certain of your theory, then let me ask you this. And yeah, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something like that she desperately wanted to get back. Therefore, exactly who was Miss Dahlia Hawthorne planning to kill? Phoenix. Gotta be Phoenix. She wouldn't have been planning to kill Doug Swallow, because until this altercation between him and Phoenix where he told her about this, she maybe didn't have any reason to suspect that he knew everything. And he didn't really suspect it as well until the day before the murder. Because then it was like, wait a minute, poison got stolen again. And again, she was here. Interesting. So it wouldn't have been him. But she probably killed him anyway when she overheard this conversation and knew that he knew. She killed him to cover it up. That was an impulse killing, which is why it's so messy. But she was going to kill Phoenix to get the necklace back. There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dahlia Hawthorne's way, and that person was Mr. Phoenix Wright. That's true. Me? That's preposterous. After all, it was Doug Swallow that was murdered. Well, that's true. That's how things worked out. But let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poisoning. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else that it could be. How could that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love. He's in love. She's not. Poor Mr. Wright, this must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice, I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to the incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about. But even so, why would she go so far as to murder him? 8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria. Dahlia Hawthorne could only think of one thing: how to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible. No, it can't be. It was a pretty good move she made too. The evidence was missing for a long time. There was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, the tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met. Just like that god-awful sweater. Oh my god. You mean that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright? Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence. That can't be true. I'm afraid it is, Nick, old boy. Or Feeny. Oh, here we go. The reveal. Feeny. What a joke you are. Fair. Honestly, how can any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me. Miss Hawthorne? It appears we're nearing the end of this trial. Fine. I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne. We'll see about that, but first, where's your evidence? It seems your snivelling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Ugh. Well, hey old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with that dumb look on your face? Okay, for everyone paying attention, this is what's called how to lose the room. Miss Hawthorne? What happened to you? Are you really that shocked? Not really. Or do you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she was a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now if you don't mind. But we're not finished. Fine. Ask this nasty old hag to finish up already. Ow. Can't let her get away this time. Stop, Mia. You keep on pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer. A fine of £30. The ultimate price? You must buy cake and ice cream for everybody here in this courtroom. You'd be forced to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid. Oh, right, okay. This writing is a bit much. I know you're supposed to have a hearty dose of suspension of disbelief in these games, but wow, that attitude, yeah. That's the thing about these games. They do have some seriously crazy writing, and this is nothing. Compared to the previous two games, this is nothing. We've seen some doozies. Some absolute, amazingly overblown characters where you're just like, what the hell? How are you not in a mental institution by now? Come on. No, no. You'd better think it over carefully, Ms. Fay. Or should I say, Ms. Gray. Ow. Well, Ms. Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all? Yes, after I save the game. Evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all. Because, yeah, I mean, how would she have actually got him electrocuted? That's the other thing. What did she do to electrocute him? I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over, but to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Yeah, we are kind of past the whole question of electrocution. We need to tie her to the other crime. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof. Impossible, you can't possibly... Stupid woman. I think it's obvious, so I probably am wrong. Maybe, but sometimes the obvious stuff is what happens. It is the opinion of the court that there has already been enough discussion, therefore I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented. Just one. If you are unable to establish her guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down on Mr. Wright. I understand, Your Honor. I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar. She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there. He misplaced his bottle. Maybe she took it. He may have tried to poison his pills. Interesting. Because he did say, actually, I did notice there was a difference. Doug Swallow said that 8 months ago, poison was stolen from the lab. But recently, the day before the murder, he said an experimental drug was taken. So it would be in tablet form this time. Wouldn't be necessarily the same poison. Present your evidence. Show this court irrefutable proof that Ms. Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright. Just diving in. Here it is, Your Honor. I mean, it did kind of lead me to that conclusion when it said, would it be in there? Like, what? Oh, pill bottle. Gotcha. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all. Maybe he found this pill bottle as well in... where is it? Actually, no. Maybe he didn't find it in the lab. I mean, how would he know that it was Phoenix's? So I always thought that he found the pill bottle and was going to return it to Phoenix, and that's why they originally started talking, but then he warned Phoenix off of Dahlia, like, dude, she's bad news, like, serious psycho, don't go near her. And that's why he still had the pill bottle on him, but she had the bottle, and she planted it. There was no... I did kind of think it was a bit thin, like, there's no reason Doug Swallow would have that bottle. But she definitely had it. The reason she was in the area was because she'd snuck into the lab. Here it is, Your Honor. Evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all. Cold Killer X. Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine. Does that rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold? If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned. Wait, what? Remember what the defendant said in his testimony? I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. She was the one who took his bottle of Cold Killer X. Then she poisoned it, knowing that Mr. Wright was going to take some.